Happy Saturday, y'all. Big hug to all of you. Appreciate you being here on a Saturday. I want to cover right now just the breaking news coming into the weekend so that you're up to date. I will have more reports for you, but I just want to get you the latest. Want to welcome our newest club member, Cyber Surfer. Welcome to the BCP fan club. If you want to support the channel and my work, go ahead and hit the join button down below. Let's get into it. By the way, just want to let you know that I love and appreciate every single one of you. Please receive a big hug from me. We are winning. We are getting some wins. It's 2 steps forward, 1 step back, but we are making progress. Now, if you've been listening to me at all as of late, I appreciate that we have President Trump, our president of peace and prosperity and humanity. If you recall, I reported yesterday President Trump's petition to Putin of Russia not to slaughter these troops that they have surrounded, I believe, in the Kursk region. So let me give you an update on that. The reply from Putin, who responded to Trump's humanitarian appeal to spare the lives of those soldiers, Ukrainian soldiers in the Kursk region. A reminder, yesterday, President Trump on Truth Social said, "We had very good and productive discussions with President Vladimir Putin of Russia, and there is a very good chance that this horrible, bloody war can finally come to an end. But at this very moment, thousands of Ukrainian soldiers are completely surrounded by the Russian military and in a very bad and vulnerable position. I have strongly requested to President Putin that their lives be spared. This would be a horrible massacre, one not seen since World War II. God bless them all." Once again, President Trump, the humanitarian that doesn't want to see countless lives lost, any more lives lost, really, over this incident. So Putin acknowledged Trump's plea, but he of course had to state his position. So let me just read it to you, and then we will analyze it. Quote, "We have read today's appeal from President Trump to spare the lives of servicemen of the Ukrainian army in the Kursk region. In this regard, please note that Ukrainian militants have committed numerous crimes against civilians. These acts, as I have already stated, are classified by us as terrorism. At the same time, we are sympathetic to President Trump's call to be guided by humanitarian considerations regarding these servicemen. In this regard, I emphasize that if they lay down their arms and surrender, they will be guaranteed life and dignified treatment. To effectively implement President Trump's call, there must be an appropriate order for the military and political leadership of Ukraine to its troops to lay down their arms and surrender." So President Trump makes a petition, and a world leader hears it and says, okay, we understand that President Trump wants peace. He wants, in this particular Kursk region, he doesn't want a massacre. Hey, these guys are military personnel, but we classify them, this is what Putin is saying, as terrorists because of actions they've taken against civilians. But yes, we'll spare their lives. They just have to surrender their arms and become prisoners of war. That's the latest coming out of there. Okay, we did get the official passing of the shutdown. So when I last reported, it had the closure vote had come out, but now it is official. And I just want to go through the list of the Democrats who helped the Republicans get this through. Because if you are on this show and you're from one of these states, then I think it's very important that, you know, we always complain and we whine and we bitch and we moan about how terrible these senators that we are plagued with in these blue states are. But I think if you're in one of these states, just want to name the 10 of them, send them a note via email or call their offices and thank them for taking this action. They are getting sweated by their people, and it probably would be good, especially in the future. I should say it can't hurt if you let their offices know that you appreciate what they did. Of course, Chucky Schumer of New York, Catherine Cortez Masto in Nevada, Dick Durbin in Illinois, John Fetterman in Pennsylvania, Kirsten Gillibrand in New York, Maggie Hassan in New Hampshire, Angus King in Maine, Gary Peters in Michigan, Brian Schatz in Hawaii, and Jean Shaheen in New Hampshire. So if you were in one of those states, let them know that you appreciate that they voted to for this bill. Okay, this is very, very interesting. If you recall, on Thursday, I reported on this mob that was in Trump Tower. They were protesting the pro-Hamas foreign students at Columbia, and the one that had losing their visa and their green card and going to be deported because of their pro-Hamas violence. And they said that they have First Amendment rights. Of course, these people aren't citizens and what have you. But I also reported how it was very strange. There were also like Jews for Hamas or Jews for peace in the Middle East. I don't know. But what was very interesting, if you recall in that report, I noted very, very interesting that these people were flying. They had these placards and things. They're saying like no Muslim bans, no bans. And I commented on Thursday that seems ridiculous because there are no new bans. There's no news of bans of Muslim countries. That just seemed kind of crazy. But then I said or alluded to the fact that, you know, these things are always coordinated by deep money, Georgie Porgy, Zorro money, and what have you. Well, lo and behold, guess what came out yesterday? Guess what came out yesterday? I think the protesters or the organizers, the people who pay these paid provocateurs, got ahead of themselves because this just came out yesterday. I'm telling you, folks, these things are all coordinated. They are not grassroots. They are not organic like they would have you believe. The New York Times reported yesterday that President Trump and his deputies have identified 43 countries whose residents and citizens will be denied visas to enter the United States. This just broke yesterday, but the day before they were already protesting what we didn't find out until the next day. How much more proof do you need that this is all a charade? This is all a movie. Grab your popcorn, because this is all coordinated. This is all Saul Alinsky. This is all propaganda. This is all paid for by Marxists who want to destroy America. And sometimes they get ahead of themselves, protesting something that hasn't even happened, but their own comrades hadn't even yet broken the story. So let me just give you the basics of it. Visitors and would-be migrants seeking a visa would be flatly barred if they come from a list of red countries, including Afghanistan, Iran, Libya, Somalia, Sudan, Syria, and Yemen. And then there's other countries in there as well: Bhutan, Cuba, North Korea, Venezuela. And then there's 10 orange countries where they will go through additional scrutiny. And those are, of course, Russia and their neighbor, Belarus, Haiti, Laos, Burma, now Myanmar, Turkmenistan, Pakistan, South Sudan, and Sierra Leone. And then there's 22 countries, nearly all of Africa, will not be given a visa unless they have an interview in their country. So they have to have a face-to-face. So isn't that funny that they protested something before their comrades in the leftist press even broke the story of what was going to happen? Sometimes if we're paying attention, we can see what they're up to before it actually takes place. All right, just want to remind you folks that there are certain topics. Apparently, what happened on the 6th day of 2021 is a topic that this platform does not like me talking about, because when I do, they cut my live streams. So be aware that I do have another show. It was originally called BCP Unfiltered. It's now called the BCP Podcast. I might go back to the old name. I kind of liked it, BCP Unfiltered. You can catch it at bcpextras.com or therealbcp.com. Head over there. My latest report is on what Dan Bongino and Dan Bongino being part of the FBI had talked about last year, but now he's at the FBI to uncover, and we have Kash Patel about the pipe bomber, the RNC and DNC pipe bomber. So head over there so you can see my report on there. I actually put in a clip of something I reported on last year as part of the report, and people commented on the look in my physique from the previous clips I showed of something I had reported on over a year ago or sometime last year, and how I look now. So maybe that's a little something to entice you to maybe want to go check that episode out. bcpextras.com or therealbcp.com. Once again, you can also support my work here on YouTube by hitting the join button down below. Once again, Cyber Surfer, welcome to the BCP fan club here on YouTube. Also, let me plug, I do have another channel. It's called the Basic Core Principles, or the BCPs of Success. Last night, I dropped a report, a video about how to spot and how to crush and how to deal with narcissists and sociopaths in the world of business. But go ahead and watch it, because it actually applies to how to deal with narcissists and sociopaths in every single aspect of life. So you might find that interesting. Also, if you do join the fan club, one of this weekend's reports is already released and you can view it. You can get an early view of it, a sneak peek of it. It's up right now for our BCP fan club members. You can watch one of my weekend reports right now. That is not yet available for general consumption here on YouTube. All right, let's talk about President Trump's win in the court. And then I'm going to talk about a loss in the courts to one of the biggest enemies of freedom and Trump and what have you. But let's start off with the positive news, this huge win. The appeals court has lifted injunctions on President Trump's DEI orders. Okay, so this is a huge win for President Trump and for America as we get rid of this madness and go back to a meritocracy. A federal court's appeal Friday evening, so last night, lifted a block on two of President Trump's executive orders aimed at eliminating Marxist diversity, equity, and inclusion policies. So here's a reminder. President Trump had previously signed two executive orders that instructed agencies in the executive branch. Folks, we must remember one, that the left doesn't want to always report on this. President Trump is overstepping his boundaries. These are executive orders directed at agencies within the executive branch. And who is at the head of the executive branch, if not the President of the United States, which right now is our duly elected and beloved POTUS, Donald John Trump. So they are literally saying you can't do your job. That's what they've been doing all up and down with these courts. As I read this to you, I want you to realize that that this action was actually done with the help of two leftist judges who actually looked at the merit of this. And even though we'll be able to see that they still have their TDS and they have their agenda, they did the right thing. And we must celebrate and be happy when people do the right thing. So President Trump previously signed two executive orders that instructed agencies in the executive branch to end discriminatory DEI policies. One executive order directed DEI policies to be eliminated in federal agencies. So that was what was happening there. And the other was targeted to recipients of federal grants. Once again, these were for agencies within the purview of the executive branch. And last month, we had a Biden-appointed federal judge who had entered a preliminary injunction against Trump's executive orders. So last night, a 3-judge panel on the Virginia-based Fourth Circuit Court of Appeals, Judge Albert Diaz, Judge Pamela Harris, and Judge Allison Blair Jones, Rushing. That's a long name. Okay, so Diaz and Harris are actually Obama appointees, and Jones Rushing is a Trump appointee. Now, this is not a final decision on the merits of the case. The circuit court just lifted the preliminary injunction so they can make its way to the legal system, but they make some arguments that are very key to indicating that if all goes well and we can stop these hacktivist judges, this will continue. So first thing was Judge Diaz, who actually defended DEI, saying, what could be more American than that? You know, saying that DEI policies create an environment and culture where everyone is respected and valued. Albeit that was Diaz's personal opinion about DEI. Diaz sided with the Trump administration. And Judge Harris, the other Obama appointee, said that Trump's executive orders did not violate the First or Fifth Amendments, which is one of the things that was being argued that led to this injunction in the first place. And then Judge Rushing, the Trump appointee, said that once again, the scope of this preliminary injunction, like lots of these things that activist judges do, was overreaching. But what was very interesting was Judge Rushing, the Trump appointee, and how she scolded the other judges and reminded them not to lose sight of their constitutional role. And I think this is very important. I want to read you what Judge Rushing put in their opinion. We must not lose sight of the boundaries of our constitutional role and the imperative of judicial impartiality. Any individual judge's views on whether certain executive action is good policy is not only irrelevant to fulfilling our duties to adjudicate cases and controversies according to the law, it's an impermissible consideration. A judge's opinion that DEI programs deserve praise should play absolutely no part in deciding this case. So even though they made the right decision, and this is a great court win for President Trump going into this weekend, Judge Rushing reminded her two leftist or left president and leftist leaning from their opinions judges that their job are to be impartial judges, reminding them of that mandate. That is how the Constitution works. Okay, so that's a win for President Trump in the courts. Who is someone that has been a total pain in President Trump's ass legally? Do you want to put that in the chat, or if you're playing along on the replay? Who is someone that has ascended to the highest office of law enforcement in their particular state, who ran on Trump would know this person's name and this person would be a pain, literally ran on they would be a pain for President Trump? Can you give me the name of one such person? That's right, Sean Ruckus, Life Roll Toll, you guys got it. And Cheryl Fowler, Leticia James, Attorney General of New York, and Johnny Strayhorn got it right as well. Yeah, Leticia James has been a thorn in President Trump's side. That is how she got to her position. That is what she ran on. She is blinded by TDS. And also, of course, she's an operative of the deep state, the entrenched establishment, the globalists, the elites, whatever the powers that be, whatever name for them floats your boat. She does what she is told. She is one of those house POCs. Okay. I'm using my Black privilege to be able to call her that. I know it's mean and it's inflammatory, but what else do you call someone who literally does the bidding of the overlord slave masters and has a color of their skin similar to mine? Okay, so here we go. What's one of the other things, one of the other group of people that these treasonous, traitorous, murderous bastards have been going after? Not just President Trump, not just MAGA folks, but they've also been going after pro-life, peaceful activists. So I'm happy to report, it's going underreported, that a few days ago, a pro-life activist actually defeated far-left activist Attorney General Leticia James in court. So, you know, New York is being overrun with crime. Things are going terrible there. But of course, Leticia James's only mission is to protect illegal aliens, go after President Trump, and go after pro-life activists. So a federal judge has dismissed a motion for contempt brought by James against the nonviolent pro-lifer Patel, who, after yet another attempt by James to use the Freedom of Access to Clinic Entrances, the FACE Act, she was trying to go after this peaceful pro-lifer. Okay, so this has to do with Red Rose Rescue. They're not even an official group. They're kind of like a loose group of people that go to these clinics. They hand out roses and they have conversations with people and let them know that there's other alternatives than ending their pregnancy as a form of birth control. They peacefully talk to women scheduled for these procedures with the goal of persuading them to choose life. They offer them red roses as a sign of life, peace, and love. I mean, these are hippie. These are literally hippie pro-lifers. They are non-violent, and they don't stop anyone from doing anything. So the injunction had barred Red Rose rescue participants from coming within 15 feet of an abortion facility. And this Patel was charged with contempt by James for violating the injunction, but Judge Kenneth Karras dealt James a blow and dismissed the motion. So egg on her face. And then the last story I want to report on is what we have coming out. And don't worry, folks, I'll be back with some more in-depth reporting on other things I want to cover. I just want to bring you up to speed on the latest news coming out. And we have President Trump and peace through strength. Once again, our U.S. forces have eliminated an ISIS global operations chief and the second in command of ISIS. Remember, President Trump had destroyed ISIS and him with Mad Dog Mattis. Real quick, did I ever mention to you guys, I actually wrote a book. The book was complete from start to finish, went through one draft of an editor, and the book was titled, the working title I had taken like 10 days to write this book. I went to Mexico for 10 days and wrote this book, and it was called How a Stable Genius and a Mad Dog Ended the ISIS Caliphate. And I never published the book. President Trump took out ISIS completely. Lo and behold, we get a third term of Obama masquerading itself as a Biden-Harris administration, and ISIS comes back. President Trump going back to what he was doing before, just trying to end ISIS. U.S. Central Command, in cooperation with Iraqi intelligence and security forces, executed a precision airstrike on Thursday, but they just came out with this yesterday that eliminated, they announced it yesterday, that eliminated one of the world's most dangerous terrorists, ISIS Global Operations Chief and Second in Command, Abdallah Maki Musili al-Rafi, known as Abu Kadash. And he is gone. He is gone. And that was in cooperation with other folks. And once again, President Trump truthed this out. He said the fugitive leader of ISIS in Iraq was killed. He was relentlessly hunted down by our intrepid warfighters. His miserable life was terminated, along with another member of ISIS, in coordination with the Iraqi government and the Kurdish regional government. And then President Trump ended his truth by saying this in all caps: peace through strength. So President Trump making overtures to Putin to spare the lives of Ukrainian soldiers, and then destroying and a precision strike, taking out a terrorist. Peace through strength. Something we haven't seen. We definitely haven't seen in the last 4 years. All right, folks, hit that notification bell. I will be back until the next one. Big hug, much kisses. Ciao, goodbye, God bless.